Oh. Hello, good morning everybody. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, to everybody. Thank you for your beautiful comments and your presence here in this reality. Really, I'm so glad you're all here, my subscribers, and anyone else who's out there who is yet to find us and subscribe. I think we really hit quite a low point, and I don't think we're out of it yet. There's still a lot of stuff going on, and I always look at astrology. I'm not an astrologer at all. I'm only just kind of learning as I go along, and learning that that the map is not the territory. I always tell myself that. So I'm just learning as I go along with that. But I think we all knew this year was going to be quite intense. So a particular subject is coming up again, and it resonates with me, whereas it did not before. And it's the event. Now, when I first heard about the event, I think it was about 2 years ago, and I instantly dismissed it, just like that, boom, like, because I think that's just where I was at then. I was very, I've been thinking about the right word for this type of attitude, where it's a kind of instant rejection of anything, because you feel so deep down, you're so wounded, you expect betrayal, and you think, well, that's too good to be true, everything's too good to be true. You really just expect constant trauma, constant misery, constant suffering, because that is one way or another, pretty much one way or another, what we've all had and what we've all experienced. So you become very bitter and twisted, a bit like Scrooge, but in the wider sense, not just for Christmas, but just in the wider sense, you become very Scroogie. Scroogie, is that even a word? No, it isn't, but it is now. So when I first heard this, and I sort of also checked out the people who were the so-called protagonists of said theory, and I found them to be wanting in many ways. I dismissed it, obviously, just like I dismissed the whole theory of the light body and whatnot. The problem is that we live in a world where we've been so abused and so gaslit, because it's psychological warfare, basically. So we learn to not be able to trust anything at all, and that includes ourselves. Now that's the biggest problem, because when you can't trust yourself, you truly are screwed. That's when you're really powerless, when you cannot no longer trust yourself. I've regained a lot of self-trust, the ability to trust myself. I really regained some of that in a big way over the course of 2019. It was a really tough year, but I gained a great deal in terms of consciousness. I really did. And I think that if you examine your life and your consciousness, you probably agree with me. I mean, we expect things to change in terms of the materium, as in our physical health, perhaps even our mental health, our material well-being, the world's material well-being. We expect that, but I don't think it works that way. I think reset, which is really what the event is, I just call it reset. I think it comes from within. We give birth to it. We bring it forth when we shine forth our light. Because I keep seeing that we are powerful creator beings. We shine forth our inner power, our inner light, and bring forth resets or the event, call it what you will. Now I think that the darkness, the forces of darkness rather, they anticipate all of this. They see this coming and they hijack this by putting people on our path or on the internet or whatever that are unsavory individuals that will take something like the light body or like the event or something like that, of that nature, and they will twist it somewhat, and they cheapen it and they manipulate it and they twist it out of context and then give it back to you repackaged and rebranded, as it were, so that people like us immediately smell a rat. That's a really stupid expression actually, isn't it? Or smell a rat. I'm sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Rat. I like rats, so I'm not going to say that again. That's just a ridiculous expression. It doesn't actually mean anything. I mean, you don't smell a rat. It's not like rats are particularly smelly, are they? I mean, that's just... oh, really? Anyway. I smell a fart. It's more like that. And you sense something is wrong, so you think, right, that's it, and you immediately block it off. And I've spoken about this before, because that's the kind of psychological manipulative tactic that they use, whereby they take something that's essentially sound, they get some people together that are profoundly unsavory and say, right, we want you to take this and we want you to repackage it, rebrand it, and then give it back to them in such a way that they automatically reject it, or that they accept it and get totally and utterly misled by it, one way or another. And that's what they do. And I think they've done that with the event. Let's not forget, there's a shitload of people that they might claim to be awake, but they're not critical thinkers. Because they think that in order to be spiritual you shouldn't think at all, which is a big mistake. So they don't think and they're not critical, and they are literally chuckle-headed idiots, and they will accept anything. They don't analyze anything, they don't take something and put it through their intuitive filter, nothing. So then you get people like that with, say, radio shows or YouTube channels talking about this subject. They've been influenced by the dark side's repackaged, rebranded version of that event, whatever. So they then promulgate this information to the wider, arena. And so that is how something that is essentially good is completely distorted. And I think I sensed that at the time, and I just blatantly rejected it. But to me now it feels as if, yes, something said to me, yes, Anika, yes. But it's this lady that mentioned it. Her name is Adrienne Elise. She's an astrologer and I quite like her. I'm subscribed to her channel. Now, like as always, I don't follow anything or anyone, but a lot of what this lady says resonates with me. And I like her. She's a no-nonsense sort of person. She doesn't mess about, that's it. And she went on about it today, and I'm not sure if she meant it in the same way that I mention it here, but something inside of me went beep, beep, beep. And I'm thinking, yes. Because let's face it, people, right? If anything, the last week has made it very, 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 very clear to a lot of us exactly how traumatized we are, how much we've suffered, and how much everybody else is suffering, and how much other people's and other beings' suffering affects us. Because you see, yes, I did talk about watching some videos of animals that were very hurt and then rescued, and a lot of you said, well, you shouldn't do that because there's nothing you can do and you really end up very badly hurt, and that's what the dark side wants. And I agree with you, and I'm very happy that you pointed that out to me. of course. However, I need to follow my own true path, and part of my true path, and this has always turned out to be the case, this is how it's always been for me, is to see the darkness in this world. I cannot disassociate in any way, form whatsoever. There is a fine line with that, because the dark side wants us to wallow, and it wants us to be in so much pain and in that survivor guilt state that, you know, most of us linger in, because we see all this terrible suffering, there's nothing we can do, yet we feel this sense of we should be able to do something, we should have done something, and so we end up in this survivor's guilt type of energy, state of mind, and that needs to be avoided, because that is a trap. I can see that, and that was almost kind of happening there. And so Claire, thank you very much for leaving those wonderful comments, and you know, it's brilliant. And also somebody left a comment about TRE, which was really good, because I'd gotten quite slack with that, and it is a great exercise, trauma releasing exercises. People look it up. It's a guy called David Berceli, Bercelli, David Berceli. Trauma releasing exercise, a TRE. It's so simple to do, it's so easy, and boy does it help. So that's another one to help us through this at the moment. Look this up. But at the same time as knowing where to draw the line, and you know, it's kind of, to me, it's like walking a tightrope, because having your Pluto in the 9th house, such as I, and having a very kind of Scorpionic chart and Neptunian chart anyway, I'm very acutely aware of the energies and suffering, and I'm very acutely aware that the suffering of any souled being in this realm, may that be plant, tree, animal, human, or beings that perhaps we don't even know exist here, but that are souled, who knows, right? Their suffering is my suffering. My suffering is their suffering. In that sense, we really are all connected. And for me, it's always been very, very difficult. And it's caused me a lot of pain, because I'm very sensitive, and even as a child, I mean, like I explained this to you, that I spent most of my time crying because I saw the suffering in this world, and it caused me a great deal of pain. I ended up getting badly bullied in school because of it, because I was just always upset, you know. And you know what kids are like, it's like, what's wrong with you, what's wrong with her? The teachers were like, what's wrong with her, you know, as they were whacking us across the head with rulers and books and hands, and shouting at us and verbally abusing us and physically abusing us, and it was just appalling, really. School, it was like a Stalinist gulag. It was really, going to school, it was like, wow, amazing. I mean, you know, it's just incredible, and people don't realise, you know, people that are not awake just don't realise how utterly traumatised we are. It's just, they're normal and they don't see it. That's what makes it so hard. It hurts, because you're so acutely aware, you're like, I'm in so much pain, it's unbelievable, I can't bear this anymore. Not just because of your own pain, but also because of the pain that you see and know damn well is in this world of all our soul's brothers and sisters. And let's never forget that we are all brothers and sisters. We are a soul family. We are all connected. Yes, we are not all one. I don't believe in that. But we are deeply connected, and we are always in communion with one another. I feel that deeply. And so somebody else's pain is my pain. When I know any one of my brothers or sisters is going through grief and pain, I feel it acutely. And there's not a damn thing that I can do about it. If somebody gets in touch with me and tells me that they are going through a really tough time, then immediately I feel that pain. It doesn't matter where they are in the world, but I can feel it. And I can feel, for example, Australia now. I can feel the terrible suffering of all these animals. And again, I can say, oh well, I mustn't feel that because it will just drag me down into the dark. That's one way of dealing with it, but you see, I don't actually have that option. I can't do it. It doesn't work like that for me. But so I had a bit of an epiphany in the night about that. And the epiphany really said, look, you're not powerless. You're used to feeling powerless. You're used to living in this world and seeing all this terrible suffering. And experiencing everybody else's suffering on top of your own terrible suffering as well. And just terrible duress. And somehow living your life, somehow managing to go about your life, which is just, it shows us how incredibly powerful actually we are, that we managed to do that under such terrible duress. People think about that a minute, right? Really. But it used to be a case of, and we do this, we have to do this, because otherwise we do sink. We are like the Titanic then. It's like we're all going down hook, line and sinker when we take it all in with the sense of there's nothing we can do. Oh, it's true. But something came to me in the night and it said, no, you don't have to do that. Stream forth your light. Bring forth your light and send it out into the world to all those in pain, including yourself. For you are a powerful being. You are made of love. We are all beings made of love. The magic of love. We are infinite. I mean, this, you know, we are here for a reason. We are here now for a reason. And I think this is the crucial point. I can feel this very much. We are going from being powerless victims in agony. We are shifting away and out of that into, I get it now. I am powerful and I can use this power, the power of love. I can use this to heal. Somehow, it's very difficult to put into words, and probably because I'm not quite there myself. This is in very early stages, so it's like tiny baby steps. It's very, very fragile. But every time I do a reading for myself, in my cards, and I have quite a few cards, this comes up and it's there. It's saying what you have known your entire life is not how it's going to be. That delusion, that illusion is going to give way more and more and more to that sense of something, power. Stream forth your light. That is what I was told in the night, basically. It said stream forth your light. Bring it out into the world and you can heal everything and anything. It doesn't matter what it is. And then this morning it was about reset. And then there is something, it's something to do with all of us, people being somehow connected and us being able to bring this forth together, because together we are larger than the sum of its parts, isn't that? Oh, it's a bit early, so maybe whatever, but we are each powerful beings, but together, when we work together, when we commune, tune into each other, we can literally achieve something incredible. I really feel that. And perhaps the reason for this channel, for you being here, subscribing to this channel, becoming part of this little community, as it were, perhaps there is a reason for that. Perhaps you are all here for a reason. Perhaps we are all here for a reason, together. Because if anything, yesterday, you know, and somebody left a comment to that extent, Courtney, thank you, pointing that out, and it resonated with me that yes, we are all drawn here together somehow. There is something going on with that. And also, for those of you who don't know yet, go and check out a channel called Onion Child, as in an onion child. they're good friends, and these are people that see it as well, and they just doing their videos. Now this channel may resonate with you, it may not, I don't know, but go and check it out and give them some love. It's when we connect up and when we commune with each other, and again that puts a lot of people off, because people think that immediately that what comes to mind is unsavory characters getting together and slapping each other on the back and pallying up and ooh and and a lot of us are lone wolves one way or another. We truly are, and we're a bit wary of that sort of thing. But it came to me that the dark forces want it that way. They don't want us getting together and communing and tuning in. They don't want that at all, because together we are powerful people. Together we awaken more, and we awaken more deeply because we learn from each other, you see. So Derek from Onion Child told me a shitload of stuff. I learned so much from him, just by him being very real and very raw, and coming out with stuff that scared me at first. It was like, whoa, that's a bit negative. But then when I started thinking about it, it's like, haha. And that took me deeper into my own awakening, for example. And that's how these things work. People should not be afraid to look at the darkness. We really have to look at it in all its guises and acknowledge that, well, I could be wrong about it, but this is how I feel right now. I'm fed up with this. I hate this. This is where I'm at right now. It's neither about the right or the wrong of it. It's just about being real and calling it what it is in any given moment, and just being real with yourself about how you're feeling and what's going on. Because I feel that in that lies a lot of healing somehow, and it's us being able to share with one another somehow. So I don't know, perhaps in the future, perhaps what we could do is set a time every week at some point that works out reasonably well for all of us, where we can perhaps get together, in a sense, obviously being scattered throughout the world, and just do a 15-minute tuning in with, I don't know, intention setting for the great healing or whatever, something. This is only a very rough idea, but let me know what you think about that, people. Because it's a bit rambly this morning, people, sorry. A bit rambly. I can feel that this year is I can't even think of a word for it. Explosive. Yeah, we're not on our own. We don't have to do this alone. You know, we can learn to trust ourselves. This has got to be one of the most important facets right now, is to learn to trust ourselves more and more and more, because the first thing that the dark forces did was to take that away from us, so that we were completely open to their manipulations, you see, and we had no boundaries, and that's how the trauma really manifested, I think. But when you learn to trust yourself again, and when you learn to be honest and real with your experience, and with the experiences of others as well, when you acknowledge the truth of what this is and what's taking place here, yes, you feel like shit, but you heal. You see, that is it. That's what healing is. And then realizing that we are all connected as a soul family, and that we matter a great deal, and that we are so powerful when we are communing, and that we could quite possibly bring forth something amazing. Because it really isn't like these new agey people would have us believe. It really isn't about, well, and then I made all this money and I had this big car and a home of my own. I lived in this great big palace, and in your own islands of new agey pink Disney-esque happiness surrounded by a sea of misery that, because you're such a selfish NPC, you couldn't care less about. Souled people are all empaths, and the suffering of any souled being out there, any soul being, will impact acutely on all of us. It is that way. It is how it is. And there is no ignoring it. There isn't. We cannot ignore it, nor should we. Because we are strong enough to feel that and to acknowledge that, hey, my pain is somebody else's pain. Somebody else's pain is my pain. This is the pain which lives in all of us. It is the trauma, the collective trauma of this soul family, people, and that is the truth. And yet, somehow in the night I went from a state of feeling powerless and overwhelmed and terrified to a sense of powerfulness and bringing forth something from within myself that was very much there, something to do with my true self, the sentinel. Bring forth your light, and it just streams out of me. It streamed out of me. It's electric blue. It's always electric blue. Anything to do with my own energy, it's always electric blue, like very blue. I love blue, but I love electric blue very much. And it just came forth out of me, and it looked a lot like a painting I did many years ago, actually. And it made me feel better. It was like, this is how you help to heal the world. So every time we feel overwhelmed by the suffering, let's see if we can tune in to our inner power, our true self, the power of our true self, our sentinel, which is so incredibly powerful, really. It's just incredible. I've talked about this recently. Oh God, bloody tag. And bring forth our light, because it is there. It's just that our normal's been, oh, we're just powerless and there's nothing. But it's all a lie, and surely most of us are really beginning to see that now. We're beginning to see how we've been lied to and how we've believed it all to be true. And it's not. It's just all a massive lie. It's as if we've lived our whole life in a tiny little room with no doors and no windows, right? And all our muscles have atrophied. It's a bit like Caspar Hauser. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that story. Just being kept in a room all your childhood and not being let out, and no idea there's a woman in that comes in and feeds you once a day bread and water and nothing else, and that's it. And now the door's been opened and you've been shoved out. And you're like, oh, but you can barely walk because all your muscles have atrophied, and you've never eaten anything but bread and water, and you've seen the light but only through slits, you know, because the windows, there was a window but it was boarded up. You don't even know what anything smells like. You don't even know what a flower smells like because you've never experienced it. It's a bit like that. That's where we find ourselves, in a sense, in a way, you know. And so something has opened that door and said, right, and you're still in the hallway, you're about to leave the house, and you're thinking, oh, I can't do this. Because again, it's funny, but we are somehow afraid of what might happen, of what we might find out we actually are, of what we might find, we'll find out we actually can do, we're actually capable of. Because it will be a case of like, well, why did we spend all that time in the dark then? Being traumatized by these fuckers, you know, if we could have done this all along or something. It's weird, but we are afraid of our own power, and I'm still investigating that, getting closer, homing in on that and finding out what that's all about. Again, it's no doubt to do with trauma-based mind control, manipulation and whatnot. To me, this is big and pivotal, that yes, you've been lied to massively, and you've been told you were utterly powerless, utterly worthless and disgusting and this, that and the other, and the ultimate victim. And actually the opposite is true. But shifting from that trauma-based mind-controlled state of you're worthless, you're powerless, and you're the ultimate victim and evil with wins, to I am this powerful creator being, and something like the event is happening. It's happening through us. We are creating it, and we don't even realize that, because we're still here thinking that we're powerless and we're victims, and it's not going to be all right. I certainly felt that way. It was really bad. Now I don't feel that way so much, but I may feel that way again, because, you know, that's part of the healing process, is where you go into that and you feel it and you're in it. You're just in it. And it's like, that's true. Yeah, I'm worthless, I'm powerless, there's nothing I can do, and I just hate myself, and I'm shit, and this, that and the other, and blah blah blah, and you're just in it. That is how that works. At least it does for me. It may not work that way for everybody, actually, I don't know, but it certainly works that way for me and a lot of other people I know. And then you think that you're getting it all wrong, and that you have to force, and you have to try, and you have to ooh, and it doesn't work that way, people. It always gives way again. The light always comes back in again. It always does. And then generally when that happens, you have more insights, you have more clarity, you have more aha gnosis come up. So you've transcended to another level. And every time that happens, there's something else, more shit to clear up. And it will be that way until we reach the level, presumably, and something will happen. But I get the sense that this is a communal thing. This is happening in different ways to these different souled beings that all have their own unique individuality, their own unique skills, their own unique gifts. Kind of like logistics, people. It's logistics, I think it is. And if we all work together, and I think we are already doing that without even realizing that we are, just by being here, we are communing with one another. We are somehow connecting and bringing things into being. I just feel this, you know, and yeah. So yeah, I mean, whatever you do, people, don't force it. Don't try to control it, and whatever comes up, feel it. It's hard to be with it. It's hard to feel it, and it's hard to acknowledge this world in its entirety. Yeah, it's really hard. And for some of us, you know, we never really had a choice. It simply is that way. Other people might be a little better at saying, I am not going to go there. And there would be a reason for that, because you have something to do. Your part in this means that you need to be able to do that. You see, it doesn't mean you're getting it wrong, it doesn't mean you're getting it right, it doesn't mean I'm getting it wrong, it doesn't mean I'm getting it right, but we are individuals, and if this is logistics, and we have different skills and different abilities, and we walk slightly different paths, because all of us together with our different skills and our different paths, working in tandem, are bringing forth something amazing here. I think that is what is happening. That is what I feel. That is what I feel. So that's good. So I'll go with that. And I think that ultimately possibly is what the event is. And it's coming. It's in the making. It's being born here, now. That's what I feel. Anyway, I'm calling it a day there, because it's bled on forever. And all my love to all of you, and well, Lisa, Boyana, various other people that I know, because you leave your comments as well, and I know you're going through a lot. It's tough, but somehow I think you're going to make it through this, and will find that it's meaningful. It's always been that way for me, and I've been through a lot, and I do know what it's like. I really do. So hang in there and have faith, even if you don't have faith. Something in you, your true self, will hold that for you. It hold the faith for you, and you will get through this, and you will emerge. You see, this is a great clear out, a great big clear out, like a kind of pressure cooker effect. So you hang in there. Okay. All my love to all of you.